Hello everyone, I wanted to do another tutorial on isometric drawing. So I'm just going to create a new canvas here, get my brush out, choose kind of a dark gray or something. And we're going to go to 60 degrees, create our first line, and then go to 60 degrees this way as well and create our first line. So I actually want to make a gravestone. So I'm going to create just a few points of reference for like the base of the gravestone. So we got our cross points here. So think this is like the thickness of the base of the gravestone. I'm going to drag one down, and I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger. And then just drag it down a little bit more. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to drag it straight up. We'll figure out the rest of that when we get into the next point. I think it'll be a little easier. Don't want to have too many guidelines, it'll get a little crazy. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to put this in a group with Control G, lower the opacity, create a new layer, and then start drawing over these. And you could draw it freehand if you want to bring in a little bit more personality to it. This is just going to be a really simple gravestone. Just going to come up to this point, come across here. I'll bring it up here and up just a little bit further, so you can see that I actually didn't follow the proper line there, so we're just going to mimic this line over here. And then this is going to follow the line right next to it right there. And connects down back to this point. And it's a little bit wonky, but that's alright. You know, you can. Sometimes it's a little nice to have some wonkiness. Let's imagine this is almost like we're 3D modeling or something. We're going to add a bevel to the front here. The bevel here is going to come. You actually wouldn't even see the bevel really here. We're just going to kind of make it look like it shows a little bit there. Connect the base, and then we can think about some detailing or something. Perhaps it has some sort of symbol or something in the front. And actually, you could, if you wanted, you could create that off on the side. And I did this similarly in my book tutorial. So we're gonna create a little bit of a pattern here, and I'm just gonna create half of it and duplicate it over. And let's see, so it's gonna kind of mimic a little bit of that shape from right here. There we go. I have half of it. Let's do Control C and Control Shift V to paste it into place, and Control T, and then right click, flip horizontally, and just slide it over kind of where we want it. We could, we could play around. We could change the pattern slightly right here if we wanted. I'm going to put it right about there and merge it down. Actually, I don't want to merge it down. Oh, I do. I wanted this on a separate layer though, but in this case, let's select this area since right now they're one piece. I want them to be two separate, so I'm going to hit M, get the marquee, and drag a selection out, and hit Control X to cut that piece, and Control Shift V to paste it back into place. Now let's just take this and hit Control T, and I'm just going to drag it to these 4 points, and there we go. It's perfectly in isometric view. Now we could easily we could change the size, slide it around a bit, see where we want it, kind of see what feels better. And you'll notice here actually it looks like this angle over here probably is going to show a little differently. I believe, yeah, I may have drawn that a little bit wrong on that side. We're actually going to merge these layers down and check some of this. So this might actually be like this. Let's make sure it comes over here, connects. I think what I did was this would actually be, I don't know if you actually even see that angle at this. I think it might look like this instead. Yeah, see, that's correct now. I'm just gonna change that slightly. I'm just hitting F to switch the canvas so I could have it a nice clean view. And we can bring these lines down and add a little three-dimensionality to them. So this line you probably wouldn't actually see be overlapped. Same with this one, so that's going to converge into there. We can just carve out a little bit of depth by just drawing some lines following this line right there. There we go. And probably wouldn't see the depth there as much either. And just a few tweaks here and there. I could start adding some chips and whatnot, maybe some cracks falling just kind of randomly along the edges. Maybe cross through there, so we'll kind of follow this. It's going to dip back in there and kind of follow that and chip down right there. Let's create a small base for this, like I was talking about in the beginning. And it's just going to follow these lines as well. And once I've drawn the top piece, I can just go hold shift or just draw straight down and pull down the thickness, almost like I'm extruding it in 3D space. There we go. And now you could add, a little bit of grass or something, some little details or something like that, just to kind of pull apart. And also to kind of break the shape. Let's bevel these corners as well. Just draw another line along here. I'm gonna erase this line. And beveled edges will look really nice when you paint it. I'm gonna chip away something up here, get rid of that chip, add a few little dots, and we can remove our grid now. And the nice thing about this, say you had a game you're working on, if you wanted to create a whole bunch of isometric gravestones, since they're isometric, they can exist all over the place and they look fine. So you can just duplicate them like crazy and they all look great in a scene. Let's take this one and let's paint it. I'm going to make sure I closed up all these gaps, because when I hit W and did a selection the first time, there was some selection kind of getting in there, and I want to make sure and clear that up. So it'll be easier and faster to select it this way than if I were to manually select it. And just like in my previous tutorial, we're going to modify, and we actually want to expand, since we're actually selecting this outer area. So I'm going to expand by 2 pixels. And it wasn't quite enough, so we're going to do that again. Select, modify, expand. Let's try 3 more pixels. There we go. Now it's kind of the center of the line. But right now, like last time, it's on the outside. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-I, and that's going to invert my whole selection. And now I'm just going to grab a nice blue-gray stone color and fill that in. I'm going to take my line layer and I'm going to set that to multiply or perhaps overlay. Maybe I'll do overlay. Whoops. Undo that really quick. Now that we have that, I'm going to make a new layer and hold Alt while between the layers, tag it down, and we're going to set this one to overlay as well. This is going to be our lighting and shadow layer. So I want the lighting to come from this way, so I'm just going to quickly block in some lighting here. Perhaps it's projecting this way, so we'll have like that. This face will be dark as well. Maybe we'll just use hit L and get the lasso tool and select the whole area and just fill that in really quick. Now that we have that, I'm actually going to select the opposite area just by clicking the selection here, and I have this area selected. Now I can start adding in some lights. Maybe the light's hitting this face first. So I'm going to just keep adjusting until I find a nice color that looks like the correct brightness. I'm just getting hit from the side a little bit more than it is from the top. And just paint that in really quick here as well. And there we go. Let's undo that really quick. And I'm going to undo that again. I'm going to go Shift L to select my polygonal tool. And then hit G to get my paint bucket, and Shift G to cycle through until I have my gradient tool. Make sure it's on the linear setting and just drag that across. I have a nice little gradient there that looks really nice. And I'm actually going to do the same thing here. but I want this gradient, I want it actually to gradient to dark, to a darker color. So I'm gonna slide that this way. I'm just getting some nice variety in there now. And I do need to adjust this a little bit. So I'm actually gonna go, a neat trick here is, say I want to select this color. If I just select it, I'm getting what these colors all equal right now. But if I hit I and go to my sample tool, I can do current layer. Now when I select it, notice the selection color is actually a lighter color. So if I select, that's the bright color and that's the darker color. If I go back to that again, say all layers, watch when I do the selection now. Now it's the equal color. It's selecting on the back one there. So let's go to current layer. I'm going to select this and hit V. And I'm painting like that. I don't want it to be as dark, so I'm going to hit 5 to lower the opacity, or 4, somewhere around there. And I just want to do a quick pass on these areas. They just stuck out a little too much. And there we go. I'm going to go back to my full opacity, select this color, and go across here. Okay, now that we got this far, let's we'll make, in part 2, we're gonna do the rest of the painting on this and come up with more details and stuff. So I'll see you next in part 2. Thanks for stopping by. If you liked the video, leave a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications if you really liked it. Yeah, just let me know what you thought, and I'll see you in part 2. Thanks. Bye.